Hi, everyone. Welcome back and happy Monday.
Happy Monday. I was just dancing, like doing all these kinds of fun things in the back.
He has a very oversized coffee right now, and this is his second.
a lot of coffee.
A lot of coffee.
Happy Monday, guys. Happy holidays.
Monday. Happy holidays, guys. It is December, and we are getting ready for our extra special mom's trip. So we are going to be going out of town next week. Well, this weekend on Sunday. And Jason has a few things to share with you guys. Over 150 people in the room. Hi.
150 in the room. Hit that like button. It helps us out so much. We won't ask you again, I promise. We have a lot of fun things coming up. First of all, if you guys have not subscribed to us or followed us on our podcast on Apple Podcasts, head on over there, do that. We put up our lives right after we do them over there for people who just want to listen. And starting in the new year, we have a few exclusive interviews that are going straight up only on the podcast. So that's going to be kind of fun. Also, the last Anchor Watch of the year is tomorrow night. So if you guys are into Below Deck Med and you're part of the Naughty Yachty crowd, come stop by and hang out with us. And if you are in London, well, not this Thursday, but next Thursday, we are doing a subscribers meetup in London. Very easy access for everyone to get to. And all you have to do is RSVP to the email address right there, ASST@upandadamlive.com. It's free. Grab a drink at the bar. Come hang out with us.
It's going to be so much fun, guys. I'm going to leave this up for a second so you guys can see it, take it in, and we will be posting this on the community tab. But we're going to have a blast with everyone. It's going to be me, Jason, our moms, best friends. We have 3 best friends coming in. Also, another person from Bravo will be joining us who you will definitely recognize. So it's just going to be a lot of fun. Come grab a drink, say hello, hang out for as long as you want. Stop by because you never know. Like sometimes I thought that this would be a great opportunity when Jason and I spoke about it to meet people that we might not have necessarily had the opportunity to meet here in the States. So why not? We're there for 8-9 days.
Why not? I'm so excited. There's nothing like London during Christmas time and during the holidays in general. It's amazing. It kind of makes in New York not look so great. When you're over in London for Christmas, I can't wait to show you guys. It's going to be so much fun. I can't wait.
Okay. So we have a lot to discuss, and I will definitely share that with you guys again at the end, that little flyer. But we have a lot to discuss as far as hot, messy topics. The one that I want to kind of talk about first is the fact that it is official and it has been confirmed. Shannon Beador is going to freaking spiral. Alexis, Bellino, and John Jansen are dating. And from what we're hearing, she just signed her contract to come on to the Real Housewives of Orange County.
Well, isn't this a turn of events? That is saying it like very, the least you can say. This is a turn of events. This is definitely going to be a hot show next season.
You remember that Alexis Bellino's husband sued Shannon?
Yes, I do remember this.
Okay. So they've never actually officially run into each other. They don't know each other. But the night that she got her DUI for the hit and run, she was at the Quiet Woman. I think we've talked about this. She was at the Quiet Woman and she saw Alexis Bellino across the bar and she was screaming profanities about Alexis.
And I can only imagine how that would go. You stupid. No, that kind of profanities. Like,
you dumb bitch.
I'm sure she was like directing it at her. I don't think she was just like.
I mean, if she's screaming in that small restaurant, then you're definitely going to hear it.
I mean, listen, it is small. I heard you describe it before. I remember being there too. If you were over in the bar area or the band is playing, you might not hear.
No, you can hear.
It is pretty tiny.
It's tiny.
Very tiny.
It's like the size of a Taco Bell.
TV makes everything look a little bigger than it is too.
Yeah.
Like, whenever we used to see some of the restaurants we worked at, like Pump and Sir on TV, we're like, it's the size of our living room. It's not very big. It's just really nice. But on TV, it just looks like this grand old restaurant. Right?
Yeah, exactly. Vicky, Adam, are you growing a beard? No, I will be getting rid of this today and going to get a haircut so then I can stop wearing the hat. Don't worry, all of the things. I have a lot to catch up on in life this week, so don't worry. But with the Alexis Bellino and Shannon Beador, what we're hearing for the cast so far, as you guys know, Taylor Armstrong's out. So it's going to be Heather Dubrow, Tamra Judge, Shannon Beador, Gina Kirschenheiter, Emily Simpson, Vicky Gumbelson, and Alexis.
That sounds great.
And Jennifer Pedranti.
Oh, and Jennifer. Yeah, great. I think that is a great cast.
I think that's
honestly,
a great
I think
cast.
we're now used to Emily and Gina and their dynamics and really everything Emily brings to the show. I quite like. I always used to say that Gina was a bore, but I really enjoyed her this past season. I know a lot of you are going to disagree with me, and that's fine. But adding Alexis into this mix with Shannon and Tamra, I think it's going to be a really strong showing for the show.
I
really
actually
do.
don't enjoy watching Alexis on the show. And I think that had it not have been for her now officially dating John Jansen, I think that this would have just been total garbage casting. However, now that we know that she is, and they confirmed it to All About the Real Housewives, I'm like, nope, this is great. This is great. This is a show. We have a show, and it's going to be fantastic.
It's going to be fantastic. Listen, I see some of the comments in the live chat as well. Some people are saying, hey, Kelly. I get it. It's probably not going to happen. But since Vicky is there and I think Shannon and Kelly are friends right now, right?
Shannon and Kelly are friends, yes.
It depends on the day. But
and also Kelly Dodd, and somebody just said in the live chat, Kelly Dodd and Vicky Gumbelson just spent the weekend in the desert.
Yeah, you might see her as a friend of. You might see her come on maybe 1-2 episodes. They might test it out. I don't know. I know everyone has very mixed feelings. I know you're shaking your head no.
Well, because I don't
they
think
don't
that
need
Heather,
to.
I don't think that Heather Dubrow would. I think that she would literally stop filming right then and there if Kelly Dodd came back.
Yeah. I want Heather to go to Beverly Hills. I don't think that's ever going to happen, but it would be.
I don't think so either.
It'd be kind of nice.
Yeah. Okay. So we're going to move on to something that this kind of really annoyed me. And, you know, last time, and I'm always going to say this, and somebody even commented on my social media for constantly saying this, Kim D. Okay. Kim D, I really enjoy.
Okay.
I like her. We know that she is a vault. We know that she knows everything that happens in Jersey. If you need to know something, she is the one, right?
Right. I mean, yes, we've even heard people who work very close to the show are like, how do they know everything all the time? How does Kim D, I think one of the producers talked to me. I don't know. I should shut my mouth about this. But she's like, how does she know everything and then put it out? And then we have to deal with it when we're filming. It's kind of a thing.
Yeah.
It's a thing.
But then last time when she had the information about Danielle Cabral, as you guys know, I asked Danielle Cabral, and Danielle completely debunked what Kim D went on and said. So there's always 3 sides to every story, right? Well, this latest one is Melissa Gorga. It's about her. She is the topic. Melissa Gorga's former business partner decided to go on Kim D's podcast, right? When she did, she completely trashed the Gorgas. And she said, you know, I find this to be ridiculous. Like, all she wanted to do was, you know, be the face of envy. And like, she didn't do anything else. She didn't do like the buying and this and X, Y, and Z. But if you go back to watching the show, you see Joe Gorga, who is helping build the shop. Mm-hmm. And for Melissa Gorga to be the face of the shop and have business partners, it makes a lot of sense. So when I see this woman, who is the former business partner, going on Kim D's podcast and completely trashing Melissa as a businesswoman and saying that all she wants to do is just kind of post about it and whatever, we wouldn't know what Envy Boutique was or is without Melissa Gorga being on the Real Housewives of New Jersey.
Hasn't this already been like dealt with? This is like old news.
No, this is the first time that the former business partner is speaking out about it.
I don't know about. Are you sure about that?
Yes.
Oh, interesting.
Yeah,
I know sometimes people though.
She got in trouble before because they were saying that she was selling designer bags that weren't real.
Right. No. Okay. Then I remember that. But I think too, there might be some personal feelings involved in that. You know, wanting to expose. People and stuff like that. I mean, listen, it's never good. I say it's never good to do business with friends.
Right.
Although I have like one business with friends. So I don't know. But
I think that honestly, for her in this situation specifically, I feel like for Melissa Gorga to have to sit there and even answer to these claims, I thought it was silly. And that's why I did a video on it, because I was just talking about the fact that this makes no sense to me. How do you not understand the value of somebody who has the celebrity attached to their name, who's able to just put the boutique out there? And it's not like people just have to stop by NB and shop. You can shop online. So having that sort of reach when she's posting on social media, she's posting certain links. Those links are clickable to you guys who are in California, Texas, wherever you are. To devalue that just makes no sense to me. It's like, it's kind of like Lisa Vanderpump, right? Lisa Vanderpump, she's not back there cooking. She's not waiting tables. She's not bartending. She comes into her restaurants. She smiles, she takes photos, she sits down and has dinner. You can see her. She's a real person. She puts her dog on the table, then she goes home. Like, she is the face of the restaurant.
She is the face of the. This is something to. Oh, look at this! Isn't that fun? All those little things you can do on the StreamYard. Watch. Yeah, it's weird. You can do a. I think you can do a heart too. Hold on. Doesn't it make a heart thing? I can't even make a heart. It does makes a heart. Anyway, yeah, no, that's true. You can't devalue that. I don't know what the.
Wow.
I don't know what it was with her former business partner that she was accusing, because I didn't follow any of this, but you cannot devalue that. I mean, there would be no one walking through certain restaurants if they didn't have celebrity backing. You know, even chefs, like famous chefs, Gordon Ramsay, people go to his restaurants because it's Gordon Ramsay. They know about it because it's Gordon Ramsay. It's not to take away from any of the smaller, amazing restaurants or the smaller, amazing boutiques and shops that just build on their own and run on their own. I think those are equally as amazing, but it's a fast track when you have a celebrity name behind it.
I'm just wondering though, what is the point? What is the point of doing this interview and what are you hoping to get out of it? And then she also went on and said, Melissa Gorga only wanted to pay the salespeople $7 an hour and she didn't want to pay them commissions. Well, one, that could have been true at one point because it was a new business, right? And two, I don't know what minimum wage is in Jersey, but I would imagine you would have to pay minimum wage.
You have to pay minimum wage.
Right?
It's not a restaurant where you can I think certain things they can do minimum wage and then tips and stuff like that, right? I don't know. California, it was so crazy. I'm telling you, it was like $15 an hour. $15 an hour in West Hollywood, not all of LA. I think it was 13 in LA, 15 in West Hollywood, something like that, and tips.
Yeah.
So crazy if you want to work in the bar hospitality industry out there or even in retail. But yeah, I mean, I would agree that really no one can live off minimum wage, but if you want to jump in that job, that's your choice. But usually most retail places offer commission if they can't offer more. So that's a fair complaint,
right,
by her former.
I don't think it's a fair. You're also the business partner. If you don't like it, then contribute to the conversation of it.
Point.
Don't
Touché.
go on a podcast and talk shit about it. I don't understand that. That's what I said. It's free advertising, Shady Katie said. And Tea Talk with Shaw said, bad business is bashing your partner in public. My dad always told me, don't tell your best friend your deepest, darkest secrets because one day they will not be your best friend.
1000%.
Same thing with your business partners. I'm here for Adam.
Oh, yay. So am I.
Okay.
Who else are we going to do this with?
Okay.
All right.
We're going to move on, guys, because I can't sit here and go, listen, I don't know the ins and outs of their business. It would just drive me insane if I went into business with someone and then you're going on and your complaint and your argument is that I'm using my celebrity to drive the business and I wasn't in there working every single day selling clothes. It just sounds like a stupid complaint.
That is a ridiculous argument. That's a ridiculous argument. Like we just said, this is how you get the traffic. It's free advertising. Do you know how many businesses pay how much money for ads on Facebook, social media? It's completely insane.
I'm looking up Melissa Gorga right now. I want to see how many followers she has on Instagram. Okay, 3 million, right? And literally right in her bio, it has Envy. And Envy has 300,000 almost.
Now I'm curious how many followers Teresa has.
Okay, probably like 4 million. Okay, so that's my complaint. But anyways.
No, 2.3.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Wow.
Interesting.
Okay. We're going to move on.
I like to do the comparison. Yeah.
To Miss Mary Cosby.
Lord.
We got to talk about this. Mary Cosby recently did an interview where she shared a lot against the producers. One, she was pissed off because at the reunion, they flew her across the country and they only kept her on the stage for an hour. But you're a friend of.
She's not a housewife.
You're not a housewife.
Technically.
Right?
Technically, she is a veteran, but she is not an official housewife for the season.
Who was that one? Do you remember? She was on Jersey. The girl, guys, in the live chat, let me know. Who was the girl who was on 2 seasons ago? She had the husband who was the former football player. And then
come on.
They had her come out on stage.
What's her name? Does it start with a T?
Oh my gosh, I don't know. But they
come on.
She didn't even.
Why is this? I mean, this is how forgettable, right? But someone in the live chat will know for sure.
That's terrible.
Someone will know.
But it is true. They ended up cutting her like she even sat on the couch. She filmed a scene. And when she filmed the scene, they cut everything. She didn't get paid for any of it because
Tiki
she didn't
Barber.
make it. Yes.
But what's the wife's name?
Tracy.
Tracy.
Yes.
T. See? It's
Tracy
a T.
didn't make it into one scene. Now, from that, Mary Cosby was also talking to Teddy Mellencamp while Teddy Mellencamp was, by the way,
sorry. Whenever I hear that name, I know shit's about to fly out of your mouth. So
it's not
I like Teddy.
I like Teddy too. Teddy doesn't like me.
We know that.
Yeah.
That is very, very apparent.
We witnessed this.
We've seen it in person.
We've seen it in person. But for Teddy Mellencamp, I just wonder, like when all of the housewives are doing the press at Kathy Hilton's DirecTV party, and they're all walking down and they look glamorous and they're answering questions, and then you have
You're gonna say it must feel like shit to not be the one walking down the carpet answering questions.
You're like, you have her and she's like, okay, guys, who's coming up next? It's going to be Mary Cosby. Mary, oh my God, welcome in. And it's like, you used to be that person, but you also said that you were going to not be the person after being fired from the show to make Housewives your life. Yet now Housewives is absolutely just that.
Do you want to give her some credit though? I have to say.
Yeah, she has a successful podcast.
She has a successful podcast. That's not just her though. That's Tamra. And I feel like a big part of that is Tamra. However, when you see Teddy and you listen to her podcast, I occasionally listen to it. I actually enjoy listening to him. Depending on the subject matter, I will listen to 2 T's in a pod. I love it. But Teddy has gotten consistently better at podcasting. I mean, we all have, right? If you do this so much, you do. She's also gotten better on the red carpet because I remember her at BravoCon, not this past year, not last month, but the last year. And it was very like bumpy and very like nervous and very shaky. And she seems to have come into her own, and she has a following that she's not always liked, but I don't think this is a bad thing. I just think it's funny what you're saying.
Wait, JJ and Zach's mama, Teddy talked about Adam on her podcast, but didn't name him. Can you tell us what she said? Oh God.
Lord have mercy.
I mean, listen.
Maybe it was from the party. We went to their party. Listen, can I tell you really quick?
Fair is fair.
We did talk about this in our members only. We went the very first night of BravoCon, before BravoCon started. We went to the 2 T's in a pod party in a penthouse hosted by iHeartRadio. So much fun. They knew how to do the party. I mean, Tamra and Teddy worked the freaking room.
Yeah.
They were going around, and then between like drinks and socializing, they take 1 or 2 housewives into, I guess it was the big bedroom, and they would go and podcast. They would go and start doing episodes, and talking to these housewives. It was so well done. Teddy worked the room. She worked the room. I'll have to give her that.
She worked the room.
And they give an amazing gift bag. They had great gift bag. I wear their little
slippers.
Their little
2
slippers.
T's in a pod slippers.
Love their slippers.
Yes.
I'm gonna wear them on the plane when we go to London.
Listen, I don't know Teddy. I don't have a bunch of negative stuff to say about Teddy. I feel like at this point it's awkward. We've tried to like fix it, and it's just weird to see when she goes on Watch What Happens Live, or it came out with the whole squash that beef with Vicky, and nothing that she says ever lands. And
the whole thing with
like
Vicky
awkward.
seemed planned though. That was very planned. There was a motive behind it. There was I think what it was a chance for, maybe this is me just being a conspiracy theorist, which I'm not, FYI, but if Tamra say this, Teddy, maybe it will get you on the show, though. You guys will have some conflict, and we want to see you guys on Housewives of Orange County. Well, that didn't happen. Alexis Bellino started dating Shannon's ex. So there we go.
She said,
there we go.
You said something she didn't agree with, so she ignored you. That was about Lisa Vanderpump.
Yeah.
I mean, who cares?
You don't always have to agree.
Yeah, that's
okay.
That just sounds immature.
That's what makes a good show too. Tamara and Teddy don't always agree. And that's what makes it interesting.
Murray, love seeing you guys together. Hi, thank you, Murray.
Hi,
We
Murray.
miss you. Lisa Michelle said Teddy just made it known that she was ignoring you, which is totally fine.
She was.
And Tamara did try to get me to talk to her.
Yeah.
And I was like, and she did. She beelined it.
She beelined it every time. But I do have to say, I miss a lot of important conversations that happen with these housewives and Adam, right? He's always like huddled in the corner and they're like, I'm like, what are you saying? Like, what is happening over there with this person and that person, with Chanel Ayan and Melissa Gorga and Teresa Judith? Like, what are you talking about? Like, I just want to be a fly on the wall, which I could be, but I'm too busy enjoying myself as well. But I would love to be a fly on the wall with you and Teddy. I think you guys would have a great conversation.
It's
and I
always
think
the ones that
should
you
happen.
think it's always the ones that you think that would be a really awful conversation, or like it's kind of gives you anxiety,
Yeah,
or it's
yeah.
awkward, or it's whatever. And I even had to sit down and explain to Tamara, by the way, this was the night after at a different party.
God, I even forgot what we're talking about, but anyway, keep going.
Yes, I'm just saying it was the night after at a different party, and we talked about like the disdain, you know, and she was like, well, did you say something bad about her? Did you talk bad about the podcast? And I said, no, I didn't talk bad about the podcast. I said that she's great on, you know, the podcast. I said that she just wasn't a great housewife. I found her to be boring on the show. And Tamara just looked at me and was kind of like, she didn't say anything, so I'm not putting words in her mouth. She was just kind of like, that's not that bad. It's like I'm not the first person to say that.
No, you're not.
You know,
you're like the millionth. That's why she's not on the show. But I think she is really coming into her own. I think she's getting better and better at hosting and being a podcast host. I really do. Yeah. That's why they have the top podcast. There's a reason. And when they started, you know, they had their janky sound set up and like, you know, like we did. I mean, we did too, right? You just don't know what to do and you're just trying to build it. But they were so authentic in the way I'm sitting here giving them a lot of props, aren't I?
Yeah.
Anyway, they were sitting there trying to build it and make it a thing. And it was because they were just authentically like, you know, Tamara would like get up and like go get a drink and, you know, in the middle of the podcast and like there would be sounds happening. I'm like, this isn't really. Can you imagine if I just like get up right now and I'm like going to go make some tea and I'll be right back?
Just using the ice machine and stuff.
You just hear it in the background. The kettle's like, you know, whistling and no. Anyway.
So back to Mary Cosby really quick.
We were talking about Mary.
She was asked by Teddy, why you're friends with Meredith Marks. Why were you not invited why were you not at her jewelry launch? And she said, I wasn't invited. And Teddy asked a great follow-up question, which was not invited by the cast or not invited by production. And Mary Cosby said, it's production. Production is starting to ice me out. Well, that was interesting to me, but it's really not. And I'm going to explain why it's not so like just mind-blowing. When you are invited to every event, and I understand that she provides an element of quirkiness and humor and comedy to the show, and she's a little like, you don't know what the hell's gonna, like when Heather Gay was like, Mary, do you really think I look inbred? And she's like, I do. And it's like, you can't say that, but she just did.
You can't say that when you're married to your step grandfather, right?
Well, I mean, listen.
Just the hypocrisy of the housewives, right?
The hypocrisy of the housewives. So what she said was that production was pushing her out. They're trying to ice her out and kind of sort of take her out of the scene. And I get that because when you go to every filming event, you sit in the Sprinter van, you don't want to do the snowball fight, you don't want to do the group activities, you don't want to walk in the bar. Instead, you ask production to go get you McDonald's. You don't want to show up to the events. Why? What? It's like when somebody asks, when you have a friend or a member of the family and you invite them and then they don't show up and they don't show up. Eventually, you stop getting the invitation to the party. And that's what happens.
Very good.
Yeah.
Great analogy. Yes.
Thank you.
Yes, I like that.
Yes,
I did.
You stop getting the invitation to the party. So why would you be surprised that they are kind of trying to push you out? But when Teddy went from there, she kind of pivoted and asked another question. And she said, I want to know like next year, because Mary was not on the cast trip to Bermuda. And this week's episode is going to be massive, but she was not on the cast trip. And she said, next year, do you think that you'll be going to more events? And she said, yes, I do. So Mary seems to think that she'll be back.
I mean, I don't know. You know, someone in the live chat said, I think JLo said she will be back because she's Monica's one friend. And right now, Monica is kind of on an island on her own after this season. And something I always say too, like we were talking about OC in Atlanta, and it's like they've brought in all these new girls, right? And it's not working for these older franchises. Mm-hmm. And so they're bringing back like the vets, the OGs and stuff like that. They got something right with Monica. Mm-hmm. Monica came in like a firecracker. Yep. She's sitting the first seat to Andy at the reunion, which we all know. And honestly, I thought she made the show so much more interesting. But I think what they did by having Mary around as a friend was just to bring that Mary effect back. Oh my God, Mary's back in case something with Monica didn't work out. You know what I mean? I think like it's just like, I don't know where it would sit next year. I think she would still be a friend of, though. I don't think she'd ever come back as a housewife.
No. I think that Bravo is doing something good with like casting right now, because I think Jennifer Pedranti was a good +1 onto the show. Yeah, I think that Monica Garcia has been a great one. I think that NeNe on Potomac is also a good one. But we're going to move on really quick and go over to the Real Housewives of Beverly Hills, because If you guys are watching the show right now, you know that we're getting the Dinner Party from Hell Part 2 Cannabis Edition this week. And before that, we had Sutton making some really interesting claims. Now, it's easy to talk about someone's man when you don't have one of your own. And I think that's exactly what Sutton is doing to Dorit in this moment, because PK was pulled over after driving under the influence. Well, he claimed he had a glass of wine. And when he was pulled over, he blew 0.1 over, so just barely over. And as soon as they got him to the police station, he blew again, and he blew a 0.073 or a 0.73, something like that, which was right under the legal limit. So the charge did not stick with him. Well, there was the whole police report that came out, because that's exactly what they have to do when they arrest you. And then it made it into a storyline on the show. And Sutton alluded to the fact, she said, I believe that there was a woman in the car with him, which is so dangerous to do.
I mean,
because you're planting
where
a
do you
seed.
get that from, though? I believe. What do you mean you believe?
She's like, I've heard some things out here on these rodeo streets.
Yeah, the streets of Rodeo and Beverly and Brighton, all of the big streets. Yes.
Well, he posted this, and you can see, it's really hard to see from here, but I'll just read it to you. Observations after the stop. I approached the vehicle along the driver's side door. I observed a white male adult who was the sole occupant of the vehicle, seated in the driver's seat of the vehicle. I contacted the driver, later identified as Paul Kimsley. And he wrote, at Sutton Strack, lying about me when I've done zero against you, and then doubling down isn't going to help your career. Nor are your Twitter squad. You are no Dorit, nor would you get a first date with me, let alone a second.
Oh, PK though. Can we just why don't you just post that? Just post that. You don't have to, you know how he goes on and he used to do the see you next Tuesday and see you next Tuesday of the week.
I mean,
remember that?
Somebody had to stop him with that
one.
You
need to stop. It's not a good look. It's not a good look for him or Dorit.
Well, no, it was kind of like when Kanye used to do that to Kim. Now, Queens of Bravo also put this out there.
Lord.
At Sutton Strack, I have never ever said one bad word about you. Why would you make up blatant lies to boost your career and then double down? That is why you're single. Don't be so picky.
I mean, why does it continue? PK, just post the report. Circle it and leave it alone. You don't need to add all the excessive.
I mean, I'm kind of here for the excessive
disses.
Well, if you're going to
it is housewives.
Listen, and he's an honorary housewife. If you're going to sit there and you're going to put out this rumor, you're starting a rumor that PK had a woman in the car and now he comes for you. It's an eye for an eye. I completely believe sometimes in an eye for an eye. If you're going to get me, I'm not going to get got without getting your ass back. And that's how I feel. So if he got you back, he got you, girl. I don't know.
Man.
What do you say about that?
What can you say about that? I mean, I understand he could have just really gotten her back with that kind of quiet assassin. Just post the police report, circle what you want to say, tag Sutton Strack. The rest would have happened by itself.
He's just solidifying that.
What is going on with this relationship, by the way?
He is not the one.
Do we know? Do we know?
I don't think we ever know. Oh. By the way, did you see when Garcelle said, I never pay attention to anyone's jewelry except for the time that I noticed that Dorit still had hers after her burglary? Garcelle.
I mean, and there was so much speculation about that specific one, because there's been many, right?
Yes.
I mean, everyone is getting robbed, like right and left, all of a sudden, it's crazy. It's crazy what happens in Beverly Hills.
It is crazy what happens in Beverly Hills. Before we move on from Beverly Hills and we take a train over to another city.
Really quick? I'm so sorry. I always do this to you. We're wrapping up a segment and I'm like going here.
Oh no, we're not wrapping up. We're pivoting.
Our house is not that big. All right. I have cameras in the front, on the side, and in the back. If you so much so as step on my property, not only can I zoom in, turn on lights, replay it live, everything lights up. I see everything. We've seen deer in our front yard. We've seen
small children from next door.
Yeah, like we all the time.
Stepping all over
right?
my grass.
It was so crazy to me. If you have such this grand house,
they had the burglars on video.
Right, from like really far away, and it was like really blurry, and like no lights went on, like nothing happened. I'm like, who put in your system? Like, what is that? You can, or literally Ring is so cheap. You can just get a Ring or get a whatever.
Well, everybody kept blaming Teddy Mellencamp's husband, Edwin.
I know, I remember.
Which we're not going down that rabbit hole.
No, we're not. And he didn't install that. But I mean, it was just like, it's really strange to me because if I play back footage to you and I put it on the camera, right? And I'm not saying this did or didn't happen. Please don't come for me about that. I'm just saying in my house, My cameras, which are not very expensive, can zoom all the way in and all the way out, even after this has happened, and it's clear as day.
Yeah.
You know, so.
And how about the robbers leaving her cell phone? That was another thing, because I wouldn't have personally, if I were to rob your house and I'm thinking like a burglar and I am
If I were to rob your house
and I'm stealing all of your shit, I wouldn't take your cell phone with me because they can track it, but I would definitely for damn sure start stomping on it or something. That way it buys me a little bit more time to get the hell out of there. Right? Like I would break the cell. I would do something.
Sure. And I get it. You know, someone said it's a rental. Yeah, I guess this is a rental. They never owned that, right? Or they did.
I thought that they did own it.
I thought they bought it from, I don't know. Even if you rented it. Okay, listen, we also have a rental. And our rental, like, we can go back and,
yeah.
You know, it's just crazy to me. That's right. We're 2023, almost 2024 in 3 weeks, 4 weeks. Like it's
yeah.
Get a camera.
All right, guys.
You have that. There's big of a house.
There's 600 of us right here in the room right now, and I wanted to talk to you guys about this, and I want to pick your brain. So last year on the Real Housewives of Beverly Hills, a lot of people wanted to boycott the show because of Lisa Rinna and how toxic they felt like it was getting with the sisters and kind of putting herself in there. And she was so relentless. She was relentless Rinna. We know this, right? So this year we have our newbie, and she made her first appearance at the dinner party from Hell Part 2. Her name is Anne-Marie Wiley. Her husband right now is being accused of the R word from his college days. And I don't want to say that. I don't like the word, and I don't know if the algorithm will even allow me to say the word. I don't want to get in trouble for it. But he's being accused of the R word. And he already was coming in as a controversial figure this season anyways, because Bravo, as you know, has a huge LGBTQIA+ following. And he is very vocal on his podcast about trans rights and transgender sports players. He's just very open about these things and how he feels as a former athlete. And we knew that there was going to be a lot of controversy this season about that specifically. And then go ahead, fast forward, and now we have this new allegation that's turning into a lawsuit accusing him of the R word. Well, this past week on the main titles, she was supposed to come up and we were supposed to get her tagline, because when you get a new housewife on the show, they don't show them in the main titles or share their tagline until the very first episode that they come on. Sometimes it's episode 2, 3, 4, doesn't matter, but that's how it goes. This week, we were supposed to get her tagline and main titles, and we didn't get them. And now we were hearing that what happened was, after this whole allegation came out, Bravo took it to the big network table where they all sit around with the executives, and they're like, we don't know if we want Anne-Marie Wiley to be on the show as a main housewife anymore, because this is going to cause a lot of controversy and take away from the other storylines. So we might just demote her back to a friend of, because this is not good for the show. It's going to be one of those toxic things that might be very triggering to people.
Yeah. I mean, just in general, I thought it was a weird addition. I don't buy that her and Kyle have been friends for a long time.
I don't, it's like, I said this last time, it's like Ebony
Yeah.
K. Williams and Leah McSweeney when they introduced us.
Yeah.
It was like, that was the,
because those are two peas in a pod.
it was the most authentic or inauthentic meetup, and nobody even bought that. But for Anne-Marie Wiley, I guess that's my question. It's not her who's being accused of these things.
No.
And it's not her who's being vocal about transgender rights or trans sports players. She's not the one who's doing these things. It is her husband who's doing these things or being accused of these things. So should that hinder her position on the show? Or should they just completely cut out the husband? But if you cut out the husband, that's part of the contract. If you don't film with your husband and your kids, then you're a friend of.
Yeah. It's just controversy. I think they want to steer clear of. But again, we're not vetting some of these new people you bring on, right? They're not vetting
Jenny from Salt Lake.
Jenny from the block, not the good one. Jenny from Salt Lake.
Not Jenny from the block. Not the good one.
Literally go through her Facebook. Who's doing what? You know, someone in production or someone in casting has to be going through this and vetting these people, right? I listen, everyone's beliefs are very different when it comes to sports and stuff like that. I'm not going to get into my beliefs on that. I was also an athlete, but you know, a lot of people like Martina from the Real Housewives of Miami are speaking up about certain things, and that's an opinion, and that's something that is controversial, and it's a conversation that's going to happen anyway.
I think also some of these conversations, it's the way that you open up the conversation.
Absolutely.
I think that when you get a little bit wound up with your opinions, and it's not a conversation, it's just my direct opinions, and it's very like this,
right?
I think
but
that's
this is
when
a
you
conversation
lose.
This is some conflict this is a discussion, right? When it goes to the assault, then it becomes a little different, and then I think that's what they don't want. I think Bravo is trying to get away from a lot of that controversy of why are you hiring crooks, and now I don't want to say but people who assault other people. Like, of course they're going to demote her. Of course they're going to bring it back a notch. I'm sure they're going to re-edit a couple of episodes. And
to be fair, he's not been found guilty of any of this.
Correct. But it's, neither was Jen Shaw until after the season, right? So,
okay.
I'm not saying he is.
But, no. Well, you can't say he is, because that's not our job. That is the job of the court,
right,
to figure out what this is. You have the woman, she's going to share her side, there is his side, and that will play out in court, and then we will wait to see what that is.
Can I say that, I hope this episode of Beverly Hills is a lot better, because I've been kind of yawning through much of the season so far. I know you've liked it, but for me, I've just been kind of like, it's fine, right? Like it's okay. Sutton's mad that Erica was jumping on strippers or on the Magic Mike people. What else?
I mean,
oh my God, we saw Morgan Wade. We've been seeing Morgan Wade for 7 months. What else?
Okay.
I don't know.
Okay.
But then I was watching last night, Potomac, I was like, wow, they just don't stop. They keep going.
Jason feels like Dr. Wendy Osefo might be a little bit of a hypocrite.
Just really quickly, I love Potomac. I mean, this is the show you should be recapping as Potomac. I'm just saying, it's really
Let's talk
good.
about it.
Well, you brought in NeNe, right? The new housewife, who's also Nigerian, to come in. And she has a lot to say about Wendy, her family, and her mom. And I think it's fun. Jury's still out on NeNe, but I love their cast trip to Austin. I think it's really funny. I love their hypocrisy. Like, there was this moment where Giselle and Candace and Mia were shopping for Austin, because this is their little trip they're doing, right? And Mia's like, oh, where are we staying? Where are we staying? I'm like, Mia, do not worry about where you're staying with your Miami adjacent trip. Remember that? Yeah. I was like, girl, you need to just sit it in the back, be quiet. But I have to say, we were talking about OGs and newcomers and how all of that, plays into the show's success. Karen and Giselle, man, do they drive that show.
Yeah.
You see it. There was a conversation
and
between
Candace.
Mia and Candace as well, but Giselle carries it through. She pushes the conversation. She moves it forward. Karen sits down with a group of women. There's an elephant in the room. And then Giselle's like, okay, let's talk about it. And Karen's like, there we go. They carry the conversation.
They do.
It keeps going. It's interesting. Every time I watch Potomac, it's interesting. And I find myself, sorry.
No, go ahead.
I'm not interested right now in Beverly Hills.
Don't kill my recap.
Are we recapping Beverly Hills?
No, I'm recapping it later this week.
Oh, okay.
Stop making.
No,
don't watch the recap, because
I want to watch
don't
this
hate
episode.
It.
No, I love Beverly Hills. I'm just saying this up until this episode, but we're seeing like the ultimate girls trip of Kyle's house.
This coffee is hitting him so much right now, and he has a spinny chair. I don't know what shit he's on today, but he is on it.
You have a spinny chair too.
Watch. I know, but the spinny chair is not changing. Like, it's not animating me.
No.
Wait, I just want to say, you pointed out something good, because you have Dr. Wendy, who's like, I am a doctor. I am a TV host. I am a political commentator. I am a mother. I'm a
diplomas.
Wife. I have 4 degrees.
Or degrees, sorry.
And she's like, I am respected. And she's like, you bring and I got the bazooka. And you're like, wait,
it's so funny. It's so funny when he turns, because sometimes she can go below the belt. Like, they even flash back to a moment of Wendy and Mia, like from, what is it, last season maybe, and it's just like, it's so funny.
Sorry,
here it goes. Ready?
I just wanted to see.
It's not working.
Okay, go ahead.
No, it's so funny, because sometimes you have Wendy, who you see her on the news, you see her present herself, and she was raised in the Catholic Church, and her kids are now going through the same steps she did, and it's so funny when she hits below the belt. I'm like, Wendy, that is not who you are trying to present yourself as being. And then you quickly get really poked. NeNe is poking the bear. But I kind of, in this instant, kind of like the other women on the show, I'm believing where NeNe is coming from. So Wendy, one of the other ladies brought up that Wendy's mom last season made a post about Mia. And Wendy's like, she didn't say anything bad. And then she reads the post. And I'm not going to even say what was in the post. And I'm like, I would believe that Wendy's mom would put the NECA's name in a shrine and stuff like. I believe it. I believe it.
You know, one
she
thing
just really she didn't make her case or help her case by reading.
I
post.
also think too, when you have somebody, this is something that really just annoys me, because you have people who automatically think, because like, for example, oh my God, you're from DC. This is my friend Charlie. Charlie's also from DC. You guys must obviously, like, you guys will get along great. And it's like, no, that's not what that means. Just because you're from DC and I'm from DC doesn't mean, 1, we're going to see eye to eye, 2, we're going to get along, 3, we're going to jive, or 4, that we give a shit about having some sort of great sistership. Like,
it's not just, okay. So I do have to say, because I have a lot of Nigerian friends, I have a lot of Ghanaian friends, and they're very close communities, and they're very supportive of one another in their careers and their family environment. I do believe that they have known each other, or, I mean, obviously I'm sorry, what was it? Her in-law and her sister were best friends, or the sisters were best friends. I don't even know, but they're not friends anymore. You guys knew of each other. Like, it's a small community. It really is. It's a small community within a community. So
it's a small community within a community. Okay. All right. We're going to move on really quick, because
we weren't even supposed to talk about Potomac.
We were not.
I'm just saying it was a good episode last night. I'm enjoying it far more than I am Beverly Hills currently.
I wanted to bring up something I thought was interesting. You guys know we talked about NeNe leaks before and deleting all of the Instagram posts that had anything to do with Bethany. And that sent the internet into a tizzy. Everyone was wondering, oh my God, she's now following Bravo again. Bravo never stopped following her, but she's now following Bravo again. She deleted all of the Instagram posts. Well, I was waiting for Bethany to talk about this. I was waiting to see what she said, and she did. And I'm going to share it with you guys right now. And then I want to hear your opinion, Jason.
And I don't know anything. So NeNe, they call it, scrubbed our interview here from her Instagram. I didn't know that, but people thought something of it. And only because people asked me, I asked her just to not be in the dark. And she was like, girl, every now and then I just clean up my Instagram. And I get that. She's allowed, maybe she's very specific about her Instagram and what it looks like. Maybe they don't like me. Maybe she doesn't want to be marketing this podcast long after it's even on. We're not marketing it now. It was on and she enjoyed it. I enjoyed it. Like, NeNe doesn't have to be in the Bethany business. And people were saying that maybe that means she's going back to the show, and that I guess she followed Bravo or Bravo followed her. She said to me, girl, I haven't spoken to them and don't believe anything. I want what's mine and what's coming to me and what's fair. And I always follow Bravo. I think they just started following me. And you saw, I mean, Andy, I would never share personal texts, but Andy certainly has had a very strong opinion about NeNe, and I have thousands of texts to prove that. And at BravoCon, he acted like, he was always open to them making amends, but it was really her who wanted him to keep her name out of his mouth. She has been persona non grata at Bravo, and she has definitely been blackballed. That's a fact. I know that because I wanted to do something with her, and she was blackballed by Andy, by the production companies. Like, that's a fact. That happened. So time heals all wounds, and maybe now, because that show isn't doing well, they would like to have her back, or are thinking of her, because Bravo is the land of, Jill Zarin recorded Andy on his own show, and he was so furious. Then he had her back, I think, in another sit down, and then he had her come back on Ultimate Girls Trip and do guest appearances. Like, I'm the only one who's probably really scorched the kingdom, myself and Carol.
Okay. So I just want to pick your brain on this, because I feel like for this was Bethany's reasoning for NeNe scrubbing the social media. I feel like if you're going to scrub your social media, there's 9 times out of 10 a reason. Not just because you're sitting there and you're like, you know what? I just don't want this on my feed anymore. There's like a certain look to my feed, and this doesn't fit it. Like, I feel like there's a reason. And I think that
foot Instagram? What are you talking about?
No.
A certain look to my feed. Sorry, I thought you were talking about there's a certain look to my feet, and it doesn't fit anymore. Man, it's just coffee in here, I swear.
I'm taking your coffee away.
All right.
Okay. So what are your thoughts? Do you believe Bethany or no?
I believe her in the sense that if Bravo wants you back and you are in the position to come back and wanting to come back because you need that opportunity or want that opportunity again, yes, I believe that portion of it. Do I believe NeNe's coming back? I'm hopeful that she will. But at the same time, right now, NeNe from her social media looks like she is having the time of her life. She looks extremely happy and in a positive place. I don't know her personal relationship or anything like that happening. She was just in Dubai with all the Dubai ladies for the Steve Harvey thing and a couple of other events too. But she just looks really happy. And maybe after she got it out on Bethany's show and she was like, this is what happened. Let me tell you this. She's like, now I want to be done with it.
Yeah.
You know, maybe she just wants to be done with it. I don't want that living on my feed anymore. Not my feet. On my feed anymore. I want to move on. And I just don't want that sourpuss kind of interview on my Instagram when I'm trying to be positive and move forward. That could be an option, right?
Okay. I mean, if you say so.
I mean, what do you think? What do you think she's coming back to the show?
Well, I wish that she would come back to the show. I just don't know. I think that sometimes you might be viewed or labeled. It's like the scarlet letter. Like you're now labeled as a liability when the network now knows that you have the ability to sue them or accuse them of certain behaviors. So now that they know that you've done this once, what's stopping you from doing it again if they do invite you back?
Right.
So that makes it a little bit more of a liability. And I think that I don't know if they would like tip the scale for that, you know?
I don't know either. You know, it's I don't know. A lot of hypocrisy from a lot of people. And Bravo is like the land of hypocrisy with these ladies.
Yeah.
With Bethany, with NeNe, with current housewives, Wendy.
Wait, I have another question for you. Because we've been talking about, I don't know if you guys are watching Southern Charm right now, but she's not on it, Catherine Edwards. And we've been talking a lot about this. Listen to the pivot. We've been talking a lot about this hit and run, where it was her Bronco that hit an officer, and then the video was released. Jason saw the video and had a completely different opinion after watching the video. And I want you to kind of explain what you saw, what you thought, how, like, let
me preface this. By the way, Southern Charm, another amazing show season that's doing a lot better than Beverly Hills, in my opinion. But when I first saw the video, I didn't know anything about this hit and run. You know, I've heard little things here and there, but I didn't know it was like a thing or whatever happened. That apparently she ran a stop sign, hit someone, and then drove off. And I'm like, that is no.
I thought she totally clipped the woman.
So did I, right? So now I'm watching the video for the first time and I'm seeing it. Again, I'm prefacing by saying I didn't have a lot of information going into this. So when I'm watching the video, what happened, what it looks like is the crossing guard or whatever for the school is waving people by. It looks like she was speeding by a little too fast, but she was following another car. And then it looks like the security guard kind of hit her car with the sign.
With the stop sign.
That is not a hit and run. Well, it is a hit and run, I guess, because the crossing guard hit the car.
And then she ran.
So if that's what a hit and run is, then that's very different than what I thought happened. Well, so that's my only thing. Do I think you should be speeding that fast through, like, if there was a school zone or whatever?
In front of an elementary school?
Probably not. Even if you had to make an appointment or whatever, probably no. You know, like, steer clear of that, literally.
But they did say that they tested her and that she had no alcohol. There was no, like, drugs or anything like that. And now the security guard did a phone interview, an exclusive interview with Radar Online, saying that she feels like she is getting special privilege right now because of her celebrity. So she wants Catherine arrested. And she said, I am going to have to live with these injuries for the rest of my life. She called an ambulance.
I saw the ambulance. So here's the thing. If something happens and you, how do I put this? Okay. There was an instance that happened at New Year's at Pump where someone threw a chair at one of my workers, right?
Oh, I remember.
It was over 35 pounds. It's now a deadly weapon, right? So, so he was like, no, I don't need an ambulance. I'm like, are we going to court? Because you probably want to call an ambulance. And I think that's almost a situation that happened here, you know, but from the video, from what it looks like, is you're putting yourself in danger by going to reach over and smack the car with your sign. I don't know if that's accurate. That's just, to me, what it looked like in the video. And then when I'm seeing this ambulance or whatever the hell happened, I'm like,
Well, someone just
What?
said to paused clause said, when I heard the policewoman's interview, it sounded like it was about money.
Yeah.
And, you know, I think a lot of times too, when you see teachers or police officers or nurses, doctors, you expect that they are going to be this outstanding citizen, right?
Mhm.
Like that you can trust them, that they don't have bad motives or whatever. But sometimes,
Yeah, I don't know about that.
sometimes, well, that's what you're hopeful for.
Yeah.
That's like what that oath and what you're doing is supposed to represent.
Yeah.
And maybe she did feel as if though this was a cash grab. She could have felt like that.
Yeah, I don't know. Yes, Catherine Dennis, not Catherine Edwards.
Did I say Edwards?
Yeah.
It's the coffee, guys.
Oh, now it's the coffee for you.
Yeah.
Now it works for your excuse. I just, that's what it feels like to me, you know, listening to her. Now this is on Radar Online and now we have so much attention over it. I'm like, this is blown out of proportion. Just my opinion from watching the video and then seeing the ambulance and being very confused because I thought this was an actual hit and run and not, I'm just going to hit a car with this. I don't know.
Yeah.
But yeah.
Okay, guys, since we have over 712, you can go to Radar Online and see it, or you can go to other Bravo fan accounts, probably like at Bywig, Hello Drama stuff. I know the cast of Southern Charm. I live in South Carolina.
Hey,
Hi.
we're neighbors.
We're neighbors. And somebody asked too, by the way, how is Theo? Theo is feeling better. So thank you guys for all the love. So before we end up wrapping this up, and at the very beginning, Jason made an announcement. And now that we have over 700 people, I just want him to go ahead and make the announcement again. Jason?
Yeah, well, we're coming to London, guys. We're going to be there for probably like a week and a half or so, taking our moms on a vacation that we definitely is much needed, and going over to see some of the sites and stuff like that. And so we're super excited. However, we're going to visit some family, which is fun. We are doing a meetup in London. If you guys are interested, all you have to do is RSVP to the email there, ASST@upandadamlive.com. Let us know you'll be there. Grab a drink at the bar. Come meet us. Talk to us. You know, there was a meetup in, we asked people if they would be there or be interested, and we got a lot of really, really great feedback. So we hope that everyone who did respond will come and show up. It's going to be in a nice, convenient location for everyone, or which we hope. And we are excited to meet you.
Someone said you misspelled Thursday.
Oh, I did misspell Thursday. Well, let's change that immediately.
So don't get mad at me for saying Catherine. Listen, guys, also, we have so much on our minds right now trying to get ready for this trip, especially with the pressure and everything happening with our little buddy and the surgery and all of that, and then trying to organize everything. So bear with us. We are human, and sometimes we have F-ups.
I would just try.
I mean him.
We are trucking into this vacation because we're trucking. But yeah, we'll have another content creator with us in London. We're going to do a really fun live there too. So on Thursday, December 14th, 7 to 9 p.m., we'll be at All Bar 1 in Leicester Square. Come join us.
Yes.
Come join us.
Let's come play
in London.
Let's come play on Thursday.
On Thursday.
If you guys want to party on Thursday, if you think that that's what it's, listen, this is a party now and everybody's
H. It could be Thursday.
Okay. He hasn't even started drinking.
No, I'm waiting till Thursday at the meetup at All Bar 1 in Leicester Square.
Yes. Okay, guys.
But make sure to RSVP so we just know how many people are coming, because we have some space set aside. So
yeah, and then just come play with us and the moms and one of our favorite Bravo celebrities and also our best friends. And my face is itchy. I can't shave my face right now because it's reacting, and I just want to like scratch it.
So much is going on.
So much is going on. Okay. Smash the like button, everyone. Show some love. Thank you so much for everyone joining us and sending all the well wishes and the love. Jason is going to fix Thursday and turn it into Thursday, and then we will post that flyer in the community tab. That way you don't have to go back and try to screenshot it or anything or write down the details. It will live right there in the community tab. Jason, say goodbye.
Bye, everyone. We'll see you soon.